and welcome to the Food for Thought. Okay, here we go. Now, tithing means giving to God before you see if you're going to have enough money and enough time. Do you agree that the first fruits principle should be applied to both money and time? What do you think? I mean, think of an example of how applying that principle would change how you prioritize and use both. So, in thinking about the first fruits when it comes to money, tithing, period. You know, a lot of people think that, especially the way that you tithe, the amount that you actually give, it comes from the gross. Okay, so before all the taxes are taken out and all the little deductions and whatnot, that's that 10% that you give it from. That's the money that you get the 10% from, I should say. So that's the first of the first, you know. And though it seems like, well, goodness, I only get this amount after the taxes, but I still got to tithe on the amount that I actually could have gotten before tithes. Yes, because God gave you the ability to earn that amount, so that, you know, even though, like I said, I know it's a smaller amount when the taxes come back, but just think if you were taxed on the money you actually got. What if your tithe was the money that you actually received in your bank account when you got that direct deposit, and your let's say your wages were $1,000, but you actually got, you know, $800. What if you actually had to tithe off of that $800? So, you know, the $800 of course would be less, but it's like God has blessed you with so much more. That's why you tithe off of that first fruit, because He can redeem the rest of it. He can redeem the rest of it for you. So, you know, that's one thing that we have to think about as far as money. And I try to make sure that the first of the week, Sunday, that I'm giving the first of my tithe because of my income, because a lot of times, depending on when your check comes and all that, you got to make sure you write the check, or you know, fill out your tithes. And sometimes, you know, you may get, some people get paid once a month, some people get paid twice, you know, and it's really up to you how you go about being consistent with the tithe. Because I know a lot of times some people do it on their whole salary. They may do it one time a year and they do it on the whole salary for that year. If you're blessed to do it like that, honey, do it. But, you know, some of us, we can only do it when we get paid, or if you get paid once a month and you do it that one time, or, you know, however you're able to do it. But God wants us to do that first, to give that first. And so when I think about that, I try to make sure not to be legalistic, like, oh my gosh, I didn't give, it's Sunday, and you know, because sometimes I'm either teaching on Sundays and I can't get out to the main area to actually give my tithe. Sometimes we do have someone who comes around and collects the tithe from the kids offering, things like that, and I may put mine in there. But by the time I get out to the main sanctuary to put it in there, the doors are closed. I usually get out of church around 1:30, almost 2. Well, about 1:30 when I'm teaching. So anyway, but giving God the first, He really does bless that first and redeem the rest of it. You never know what God can add to the remaining amount that you have left, and by being obedient and giving that first part, that first fruit, you're acknowledging Him. You're cheerfully giving to Him. You're saying, you know what, God, you are first. You're first. You gave me the ability to earn this income. And you know what, I learned from someone in our membership class, you know, he was saying, you know, Lord, he would pray, Lord, please increase my tithe. I was like, that's awesome, because increasing the tithe means what? The money, the income will increase. And so I've prayed that prayer, not to just be, oh, greedy or whatever, but the more I have, the more income I have, Lord God, the more I can give to you. And what a blessing that would be, what a testimony that would be, to say, you know what, God increased my tithe, so I was able to give abundantly and above all that I, you know, thought I could. Because sometimes we just think, oh, I can't make it off of, if I tithe this. Let me tell you, 2010, God blessed me more than I ever thought. I have more income, and I'm not just trying to brag and say, oh gosh, but I've gotten so much. But I'm saying I didn't believe, you know, I had gone through my car situation, and even though I got a raise on my job, I was just like, oh, now that I got this car, my whole raise is gone. But God blessed me to save more than I've ever saved in my life. He blessed me to have more in my bank account than I have had in a while. And I was just like, how did I do that? How did you do that, Lord? How was I able to save money, give, and pay all my bills? How did you do that, Lord? He redeemed that tithe. He redeemed what I gave. He can do it for you. And as far as time is concerned, you know, how many of us get up and just, you know, go about our day? Do you pray first before you even get out of bed? Or if, you know, you get out of bed and you sit on the side of the bed, is it, all right, how this day gonna go? How do you give God that first of your time in the morning? Because I like to pray and speak to God before I get out of bed. I don't like to really get up and get my day going and move. I used to do it 2 different ways because I knew I was going to give God my time in the morning, period. But sometimes I would get up, get my day going, and then I'd come back and have a time of devotion and prayer. That was okay. It was a different time for me because I was working a different shift. But, you know, now I can get up. He's the first thing on my mind. Allow him to be the first thing on your mind. Allow him to be the first thing on your heart, and see how the rest of your day goes. If you give him your time in the beginning of the day, he can redeem the rest of the time. Meaning, you know, especially if you're running late, and that's been my challenge sometimes. If I know I'm running behind, I still have to give him my time in the morning. I still have to pray. I still have to say, okay, Lord, you know, I love you. I praise you. I give you glory. I honor him in as much time as I can, and he redeems that time. Especially if I'm leaving the house and I'm like, oh goodness, I hope I get there. I could get every green light. I can get to work so much quicker. I'm like, wait a minute, how did I get to work? So how did I get here so fast? Praise your name, Jesus. Giving him the time can also bring more peace and more stability, more just stability of your mind, and you're able to focus more. Once you've set things right with him, once you've gotten that communication with him and gotten on the right track with him, man, your day can go so much better. So, you know, I just want to know what you guys think about, you know, giving the first of your time to God. And I'm not saying you have to. You got to absolutely, you know, pray to God when you wake up. When you open your eyes, God must be on your mind. You got to give him, you know, the first word out of your mouth. I'm not saying that because he's not legalistic like that. You know, what works for you is going to work for you. I'm just saying that I want to give him the first of my time. When I wake up in the morning, I want it to be about him. I want him to be first because I don't want any other distractions, any other thing to pop into my mind. The devil can put in my mind and say, oh yeah, remember, you know, this thing you got to do at work, or, you know, remember what happened last night, or that person got on your nerves. I don't want that to pop into my head and cause me to be distracted and cause me to get frustrated, and I don't want anything that will be exalted before him. So if a negative thought or evil thought is going to come into my mind first, I want him to be first so that he can help me to get those things out of my mind so that my day can go and his will can be done in my life. So I just want to know what you guys think. You know, what do you think about the first fruits of your time and your tithe? Have you struggled in it? Do you need help with it? Do you need understanding about it? Is it challenging because you know what your finances and your budget looks like and it doesn't seem like you can make it on that? If you do, you know, pray and ask God for more faith, for more strength and more trust in him to be able to redeem that for you. Test him. He said to test him. We talked about this in week 1. He said to test him and see, you know, won't he open up the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that you won't have room enough to receive it. So, like I said, comment, rate, subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, you can leave a comment or send a message to me. Just let me know what you guys think. And I hope you all are having a blessed week so far, and I hope the remainder of your week God redeems for you. Just put him first. All right, guys, have a great day.